Welcome students. Today we are going to discuss about the new topic which is in your 10th class, factors essential for the process of photosynthesis. Whenever we heard the word factors essential for process of photosynthesis, once you recall your memory, you may remember the equation proposed by C.B. Van Melle or Robert Hill. Here I took the equation of Robert Hill. If you observe the equation well, then you may get the necessary factors for the process of photosynthesis. Here if you see carbon dioxide, water, sunlight and chlorophyll. These are the factors essential for the process of photosynthesis. Okay, and here we also divide these factors into two categories. One is external factors, another one is internal factors. If we talk about the external factors, means the factors which are available in the environment outside of the body of the plant. Okay, here carbon dioxide, where it is available in the environment outside of the body of the plant, then it is under external factor. If we talk about water, where it is available in the soil, means in the underground, the water is taken by the plant by using roots, means water is also one of the external factor. If we talk about sunlight, it is also coming from the sun, that's why it is also under the group of external factor necessary for the process of photosynthesis. If we talk about chlorophyll, where it is available? Yes, it is available inside the body of plant, mainly in the leaves. That's why it is internal factor. It is present inside the body. That's why it is the internal factor necessary for the process of photosynthesis. Okay, and today we are going to know more about these factors necessary for photosynthesis. Okay, if we talk about the first one, water and photosynthesis. How can we tell water is one of the necessary factor for photosynthesis? For this, once you recall your memory from your 7th class, by the scientist named as von Helmont. He conducted one experiment on plants. During those days, means von Helmont days, no one don't know about photosynthesis. During that time, everyone, they think that plants are getting everything from the soil. But it was disproved by von Helmont. For his experiment, he took a villus plant and he planted that in a flower pot. After some days, whenever the plant grow well, he just plucked out the plant from the flower pot. And before going to plant the plant in the flower pot, he just measured the weight of the soil. And he noted in his diary. Later, after few days, means after few months, whenever the villus plant grow well, whenever it increases its weight, biomass, then that time he removed the plant from the flower pot and he started measuring the weight of the soil again after removing the plant. And he compared the first weight and the second weight, and he find a little change in the weight. By this experiment, he proved that the plant is not getting everything from the soil, and he believed that we are watering plants, no plant is getting, the weight of the plant is increased by the help of the water. He proved by this experiment, means water is also essential for the process of photosynthesis. Once you remember, if we did not water the plants for a long time, for a few days, what will happen? The plants may dry, wilted, and they may die. Is it right? That's why water plays an important role in the process of photosynthesis. That is the von Helmont experiment. If we talk about the relation between air and photosynthesis, Does the air plays an important role in the photosynthesis? Actually, during the days, means the ancient days, the people don't know about photosynthesis. I already told you. It took about 300 years by our scientists to discover the factors essential for the process of photosynthesis. Here, if we talk about the relation between air and photosynthesis, many scientists, they conducted many experiments. In that, one of the important milestone of this photosynthesis experiment was conducted by a scientist named as Joseph Priestley. Joseph Priestley in the year 1770, he conducted a series of experiments. And he proved the importance of air for the process of photosynthesis. Okay, during those days, Von Helmont also don't know anything about photosynthesis, but he conducted a series of experiments successfully to prove the relation between air and photosynthesis. In that experiment, we are going to discuss about that experiment which is conducted by Joseph Priestley. In the year 1770, he conducted this series of experiments. For this experiment, he took a bell jar which is transparent, means we can able to see through the bell jar. We are able to see. Okay, and the bottom of the bell jar is flattened, means if we keep the bell jar on a surface, it won't allow anything into it or out of it. Okay, that is the speciality of this bell jar. In the series, first of all, he took a bell jar and he introduced a burning candle, lighted candle. After a few minutes of time, he observed that the burning candle, the light of the candle, it get stopped. It extinguished. Why? He don't know. And he later, in the second step, in the second series, he took again a bell jar and a burning candle. Along with that, this time he also introduced a mouse. Along with the burning candle, he introduced a small mouse. Okay, here after a few minutes of time, actually what happened in the first step, the same thing happened to the candle. The light of the candle, it was put off and the mouse gets suffocated and it died. Mouse gets suffocated and it was died. In the next series, in the next step, he took bell jar along with the burning candle, mouse, another mouse and a mint plant. This time he introduced a mint plant. After few minutes and after long time, he observed the candle is not putting off, not extinguished, and the mouse also alive. The candle is continuing the light flame, and at the same time mouse also alive. By this experiment, he proved that the candle and the mouse, they are making some damage to the air which is present in the bell jar. First step, the second step and the first step, what he observed? He observed that the burning candle and the breathing animal, they are causing damage to the air present in the bell jar. But in the next series, what happened? After this, though he introduced the candle and mouse, the candle was put off and the mouse also suffocated and died. But whenever he introduced the mint plant, the candle continuing the burning, giving lighting, and the mouse also alive. By this experiment, he concluded that plant restore the air which is used up by breathing animal and burning things. Here, by this experiment, he proved that the plants are able to process called as gaseous exchange. Here all the living animals are getting one important portion of the air from the plants. We proved that, and but he unable to give the name to that important part of the air. Later in the year 1775, a scientist named as Lavoisier, he coined the name for the important portion of the air as oxygen. Okay, in the year 1770, he started the series of experiments to prove the relation between air and photosynthesis, and in the year 1774, he discovered oxygen, but he did not give any name to that gas. He just called it as important portion of the air. Later in the year 1775, the important portion of the air is named as oxygen by a scientist called as Lavoisier. Then I think you understand about the air and photosynthesis relationship. Here plants are able to exchange the gases, but Joseph Priestley unable to explain it. How the plant is able to exchange the gases? By the help of stomata. On the surface of a leaf, it contains many small tiny pores called as stomata. Either underside or on the surface, it contains many pores. By using that small holes called as stomata, it is able to exchange the gases. What gas it is taking? Yes, it is taking carbon dioxide for the process of photosynthesis, and it can also take oxygen for the process of respiration. Okay, by this experiment, Joseph Priestley, what he concluded? Plants restores the air which is used up by breathing animals and burning things. Then after this, we are going to the next important experiment or activity in this topic, that is carbon dioxide is necessary for the process of photosynthesis. What is here? Air means either carbon dioxide or oxygen. Here we are going to discuss about gas, air, where it is available in the air. That's why we are going to discuss about the experiment. Carbon dioxide is necessary for the process of photosynthesis. What is the aim of the experiment? To prove carbon dioxide is necessary for the process of photosynthesis. Then what are the requirements? For this experiment, we need a potted plant. A potted plant. What is meant by a potted plant? The plant which is planted in a pot, flower pot. Okay. And the plant should have long and narrow leaves. A potted plant which is having long and narrow leaves. Such kind of potted plant we have to take. And another one, wide mouthed bottle. This one is wide mouthed bottle. And here to the bottle we have another part, that is split cork. Split cork. Next one, if you talk about for doing iodine test, we need iodine solution and a Petri dish. Along with this, we also need KOH solution, potassium hydroxide solution. If it is not available, you may take the potassium hydroxide pellets also. Okay, is it clear? Then move to the procedure. What we have to do? For doing this experiment, we have to keep this potted plant about 5 to 7 days or 6 days in a dark room. We have to place the potted plant in a dark room about 1 week. Why we have to keep the plant in the dark room? Because now the plant leaves are having starch in it. Whenever we kept the plant in the dark room, it just, what it do? It just, the plant is able to utilize the starch present in the leaf. Then the leaves, they become starch free, de-starch. This process is called as de-starchation. Okay, we have to de-starch the plant by keeping the plant in the dark room. By keeping the plant in the dark room, we have to de-starch the plant. Then the plant is free from starch. After 1 week, now we have to select one healthy leaf which is long and narrow, and we have to insert half of that leaf. You have to select one leaf and you have to insert half of the leaf into the wide mouthed bottle which is containing potassium hydroxide solution, about 3 to 5 ml of potassium hydroxide solution. You should not touch the leaf to the potassium hydroxide solution. By using a split cork, you have to arrange the leaf in that manner. Okay. After that, here you should not give any entry to the air. That's why by using grease, you have to close the openings which are present here to the cork. Okay, like that we have to make the bottle airtight. It won't allow any gas into it or out of it. Then why we take here potassium hydroxide solution? The function of potassium hydroxide solution is to absorb the carbon dioxide present in the bottle. It will absorb all the carbon dioxide present in the bottle. But in the outer atmosphere, the carbon dioxide is present. But inside the bottle, there is no carbon dioxide. Okay, like about 3 to 4 hours, we have to keep the full arrangement, full setup under sunlight. After that, the plant again started the process of photosynthesis by using water, carbon dioxide present in the air, sunlight from the sun. By using all these, it is capable to undergo a process of photosynthesis. After that time, you just plug this lid which we inserted into the bottle and spread on a petri dish. Before going to spread on a petri dish, again we have to follow the process of removal of chlorophyll process. Means in the previous activity what we discussed, presence of starch experiment. What we did for that, we took a boiling tube, methylated spirit, water bath, everything. In the same manner, again we have to make the leaf to lose its chlorophyll in the methylated spirit over a water bath. Whenever the leaf turns pale color, pale white color, then we have to remove it and spread on a petri dish. After that, take a tincture iodine solution, add 2 to 3 drops of iodine solution on the leaf. After adding, within few minutes, the leaf turns its color to blue-black. Here only half of the leaf is turning blue-black. Remaining half, there is no color change. Why? Remaining half, the half of the leaf which is present outside of the bottle, it just get changed its color. But the leaf which is present inside the bottle, there is no color change because of the absence of the carbon dioxide. By this experiment, we can prove that in the presence of carbon dioxide, only carbon dioxide, whenever the carbon dioxide is available in the atmosphere, then only plant able to do the process of photosynthesis. Okay, and you may do the same thing, testing for starch. You may take another leaf and do the same process. Then you may see for this leaf, if you do, after whenever you added iodine solution, entire the leaf color of the leaf, it may change into blue color. Entire leaf, because we did not keep any half of the leaf into the bottle which is having hydroxide solution. That's why the color of the leaf, it get turned into blue-black. But for this leaf, what happened? Only half changed into blue-black. It indicates that carbon dioxide is necessary for photosynthesis. by a scientist called as mole. That's why this experiment is also called as mole's half-leaf experiment, because only half of the leaf is able to convert, is able to turn its color in the iodine test. That's why we also call this experiment as mole's half-leaf experiment. I think you understand better today's session. We will meet by tomorrow. The session is over.